Wild West Podcast invites you to join us as we unravel the rich and captivating narrative of Wyatt Earp, a man who personified the spirit of Western survival and courageously fought for a civilized society amidst the wild and untamed expanses of the American West. Prepare to be immersed in tales of adventure, conflict, and the relentless pursuit of justice as we bring part 2 of Wyatt Earp's remarkable story to life. Following the tragic loss of Peoria, Wyatt Earp encountered significant legal challenges that would influence his early life. On March 14, 1871, the government of Barton County, Missouri, initiated a lawsuit against Earp and his financial sureties. At this point, Earp held the position of collecting license fees in Lamar, a role that was essential for the town's economy and for financing the local school system. However, he faced serious allegations regarding his failure to submit the fees he had collected, which raised concerns about his integrity and accountability in handling public funds. The situation surrounding this lawsuit illustrates the complexities of Earp's life during this period, showcasing how his personal grief intersected with considerable professional obstacles that would help shape his future endeavors. In late March of 1871, Wyatt Earp faced additional problems when James Cromwell took legal action against him. Cromwell alleged that Earp had engaged in unethical practices by manipulating court documents related to a financial judgment. He claimed that Earp had falsely represented the amount of money he had supposedly collected to settle the judgment against him, creating a significant discrepancy that drew the court's attention. As a result of this situation, the court intervened in a dramatic fashion, seizing one of Cromwell's prized possessions, a valuable mowing machine. This unforeseen turn of events led to the machine being auctioned off, but it fetched a paltry sum of just $38, far below its actual value. In his lawsuit, Cromwell argued that Earp should be held liable for $75, a figure he claimed accurately reflected the mowing machine's estimated worth prior to its sale. In early April of 1871, a pivotal legal drama unfolded in the lawless expanse of Indian Territory, a region notorious for its tumultuous nature and frequent territorial disputes. The spotlight fell on Wyatt Earp, along with his two associates, Edward Kennedy and John Schoen. These three men found themselves entangled in a serious accusation, the theft of 2 horses, valued at a substantial $100, belonging to a local settler named William Keyes. The incident was just a microcosm of the wild and often perilous life in the area, where property disputes could escalate quickly into violence. In the wake of Earp's arrest, the machinery of justice began to grind into motion without delay. On April 1, 1871, a bill of information was formally filed, outlining the charges against Earp and his co-conspirators. This legal document set the stage for a thorough examination of Earp's actions and role in the unfolding drama. The legal repercussions of this incident would reverberate through Earp's life, shaping his legacy in the eyes of history. The following is the Bill of Information, which was filed on April 1, 1871. April 1st, 1871. Bill of Information. U.S. v. Wyatt S. Earp, Ed Kennedy, John Schoen. White men and not Indians, or members of any tribe of Indians by birth or marriage or adoption, on the 28th day of March, A.D. 1871, in the Indian country in said district, did feloniously, willfully steal, take away, carry away 2 horses, each of the value of $100, the property, goods, and chattels of one William Keyes, and pray awit, signed J.G. Owens. Only a few days later, on April 6th, the escalating situation took a dramatic turn when Deputy United States Marshal J.G. Owens took decisive action. With a sense of urgency and the weight of federal authority behind him, he arrested Wyatt Earp, citing his alleged involvements in the horse theft. This arrest marked a significant shift, signaling the federal government's growing determination to impose law and order amidst the turbulence of the frontier. This dramatic encounter unfolded in the chaotic backdrop of the American West, where lines between law enforcement and outlawry were often blurred, and danger lurked at every turn. Earp, known for his quick draw and even quicker wit, was escorted to the presence of Commissioner James Churchill, where an arraignment took place on April 14, 1871. Inside the dimly lit courtroom, tensions ran high as Commissioner Churchill methodically set Earp's bond at a staggering $500, a hefty sum that underscored the grim severity of the accusations. The courtroom buzzed with whispers and speculation, fueled by various theories suggesting that the theft allegations, supposedly committed in the treacherous Indian Territory, were nothing more than a carefully crafted fabrication, possibly stemming from personal grudges or the shadowy maneuvers of political rivals. These theories, while intriguing, remain shrouded in mystery, adding yet another layer to Earp's already rich and complex narrative. Fiercely determined to reclaim his freedom, Wyatt Earp found himself confined behind bars, yet his spirit remained unbroken. In a bold escape, he seized the opportunity to break free alongside 9 other inmates. Under the cover of darkness, they stealthily navigated through a cramped crawl space in the jail's attic. This perilous escape route led them to a window from which they lowered themselves into the night, evading the vigilant eyes of their captors. The group disappeared like shadows into the depths of the wilderness, and with most of the fugitives never recaptured, Earp's audacious escape further solidified his reputation as a resourceful survivor. Following his escape, local authorities moved swiftly to put him back behind bars, leading to the issuance of a warrant for his arrest. However, the narrative took an unusual turn when this warrant was returned unsealed on November 21, 1871, indicating a lapse in the pursuit of Earp and raising questions about the circumstances surrounding his flight from justice. Ultimately, the charges against Earp were dismissed due to lack of service. This indicates that the authorities within the territory faced significant challenges and quite possibly a shortage of resources, which hindered their ability to effectively pursue a suspect who was an escaped horse thief. This situation is particularly noteworthy in contrast to the fate of Earp's alleged accomplice, Ed Kennedy. Kennedy had remained in custody, unlike the fugitive, yet he was acquitted of all charges. His acquittal was primarily attributed to insufficient evidence, raising questions about the strength of the case against both men. Anna Schoen, the wife of John Schoen, came forward with a sworn statement in which she made serious accusations against Wyatt Earp and Ed Kennedy. In her detailed account, she alleged that Earp and Kennedy had employed coercive tactics to force her husband into participating in the theft of a significant number of animals. Furthermore, she recounted the alarming threats made by both men, asserting that they explicitly threatened to take the lives of both her and her husband should John decide to turn state's evidence or testify against them in court. Anna's testimony highlighted not only the dangerous influence Earp and Kennedy wielded, but also the intense fear that gripped her family as a result of their intimidation tactics. Biographer Stuart Lake meticulously chronicled the remarkable and often tumultuous life of Wyatt Earp, delving into the challenges he faced after he escaped from jail. During the brutal winter months of 1871 and 72, with economic prospects dwindling and the landscape blanketed in snow, Earp sought refuge in buffalo hunting to sustain himself. This pursuit provided him with essential nourishment and presented formidable obstacles inherent in the untamed and rugged terrain of the frontier. This environment offered him the opportunity to slip away from the prying eyes of the law. The treacherous hunting grounds required skill, determination, and a deep understanding of the land and its inhabitants. As Earp navigated this harsh wilderness, he honed his survival skills and further solidified his reputation as a man of the frontier. However, his journey did not end in this isolated pursuit. By early spring of 1872, Wyatt Earp's path led him to Peoria, Illinois, a bustling city that would soon bring its own trials and tribulations. It was in this new setting that Earp would encounter diverse challenges and would continue to shape his storied destiny. In 1872, Wyatt Earp became involved in a different type of venture in Peoria, Illinois. He became a part owner and operator of a brothel in the red light district on Washington Street, just a few doors from the busy intersection of Wellington Street. This establishment, a hub of activity and the complexities of vice, was owned by Jane Haspel, a prominent madam recognized for her shrewd business acumen and a reputation that preceded her. Within the walls of this brothel, which catered to a varied clientele, there was a small yet dedicated staff of approximately 5 women. Among these was Minnie Randall, a significant figure in the establishment, and another woman who at the age of 22 was known by the alias of Sarah Earp, possibly linked to Wyatt himself in some personal capacity. The nature of their employment reflected the societal norms of the time, where such institutions operated on the fringes of legality and morality. In a calculated move to expand their financial interests, Wyatt Earp, along with his brother Morgan, and George Randall, a local thug with a notorious reputation and an extensive criminal record, invested in this brothel sometime between October 1871 and January 1872. This venture highlights the complex connections between Wyatt's pursuit of financial gain and the encouragement of social vices, where danger and lawlessness often shadowed the promise of opportunity. On the evening of February 24th, a significant raid was conducted on Haspel House, a location notorious for its clandestine activities. During the operation, law enforcement officials seized evidence and apprehended several individuals. In the aftermath, Jane and her daughters managed to evade serious charges thanks to a plea deal with the prosecuting attorney. His primary objective was to dismantle the operation run by the keepers of the Haspel House, who were the main targets of the investigation. Unfortunately, Minnie, one of Jane's daughters, was not so fortunate. She was compelled to testify against her own family as a condition for the dismissal of her charges. This dramatic turn of events drew considerable attention, and some of the details surrounding the raid and its implications were later documented in the articles published by the Peoria Daily Transcript, edited by George V. Kent, who played a significant role in chronicling the unfolding drama. On the evening of February 26th, a Monday, police officer McWhirter issued a warrant to arrest 3 notable figures, Wyatt Earp, Morgan Earp, and George Randall. This warrant stemmed from ongoing concerns in the city, prompting the officer to proceed cautiously. After successfully serving the warrant, Officer McWhirter escorted the 3 men to the courthouse, where they stood before Judge Cunningham, a respected figure in the judicial system. Inside the courtroom, the tense atmosphere was palpable as the charges laid against them by the city of Peoria were read aloud. These allegations, stemming from previous incidents that had captured the attention of local authorities, would set the stage for the proceedings that followed. The case would involve not only the men's individual actions, but also reflect the broader social tensions of the time, making it a significant moment in Peoria's history. The charges read before the court stated, "The City of Peoria versus Wyatt Earp, for keeping and being found in a house of ill fame. The defendants were ultimately found guilty after their trial was moved to the courtroom of Judge William Roundsville. Interestingly, they specifically requested that their case not be presided over by Judge Cunningham. This change of venue turned out to be a fortuitous turn of events for the defendants, as Judge Roundsville had no prior experience with criminal cases. He usually focused on civil matters. This unfamiliarity with the complexities of police cases may have influenced the proceedings in an unexpected way. Wyatt Earp soon became a notorious figure in Peoria as he continued to reside in a well-known brothel part of the city's vibrant red light district. Earp's lifestyle and choices did not sit well with many residents, and he quickly earned the disdain of the local community. Newspapers of the time were particularly scathing in their assessments, often labeling him a bummer, a term that denoted someone who lived on the fringes of society, akin to a vagrant or drifter with a dubious reputation.
Thinking about getting into registered livestock but don't have a ranching background? You are not alone. On From the Pasture with Hired Hand, we talk with breeders from all walks of life, some born into it, others learning as they go. Hear their stories, mistakes, and hard-earned lessons about raising pedigree livestock, navigating genetics, and making a name in their industry. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts or visit hiredhandsoftware.com and stay connected.
Earp and his brother Morgan found themselves in legal trouble on several occasions. Their run-ins with the law predominantly stemmed from being discovered in establishments known for vice. Specifically, they were arrested multiple times for their associations with houses of ill repute. One particularly noteworthy incident involved them being unable to pay a court-ordered fine, which led to a stint in jail. Local newspapers were relentless in their coverage of their legal troubles, detailing every aspect of their arrests, including the stark reality of spending time in a calaboose, a term used to refer to a jail cell at the time. This exposure only further tarnished Earp's already questionable reputation within the community, casting him in a far from respectable light. After celebrating his sister's 11th birthday in Missouri, Wyatt Earp made his way back to Peoria, Illinois. However, his return took a tumultuous turn when he was arrested once again, this time aboard a keelboat suspected of functioning as a floating brothel on the Illinois River. The local law enforcement conducted a surprise raid on the vessel, apprehending several individuals who attempted to flee the scene. Wyatt was discovered in the company of a woman amidst the chaos of the raid, further complicating his already troubled reputation. In the wake of these challenges, Wyatt Earp began reassessing his life's direction. From 1873 to 1874, he focused on buffalo hunting. Likely driven by his need for a more stable and financially rewarding career, in the face of the upheaval surrounding his past. This venture into buffalo hunting not only represented a strategic move toward a more secure livelihood, but also offered him a chance to escape Peoria's unpredictable and often volatile environment, seeking a sense of renewal and purpose in the great expanses of the American frontier. In the sweltering summer of 1873, it is rumored that Wyatt Earp found himself in the teeming town of Ellsworth, Kansas. Ellsworth served as a vital railhead, a pivotal stop where immense herds of cattle, driven by the sun-baked plains of Texas, were brought northward. The town was a lively tapestry of activity, its streets thrumming with wild energy. Drunken cowboys swaggered through the dust, their raucous laughter and shouted banter mingling with the shouts of vendors and the clatter of hooves on the muddy roads. Among the townsfolk were two infamous gunmen, Billy and Ben Thompson, whose preference for gunplay over dialogue was well known. Their presence added a charged atmosphere to the already tense environment, where disputes often erupted into violent confrontations, rather than being settled with reasoned conversations. Wyatt Earp had heard the chilling tales of the notorious killers, and he had wisely chosen to avoid their unpredictable presence at the gaming tables. However, fate would eventually thrust him into their chaotic world on a fateful day, August 15th, 1873. As he stood across the dusty street from Brennan's saloon, the air thick with tension and anticipation, Wyatt's attention was suddenly drawn to the raucous sounds emanating from within the gambling house. Voices rose in pitch, sharp and angry, revealing that a volatile argument had erupted. The Thompsons, known for their quick tempers and deadly reputations, were clashing violently with two other men, John Sterling and Jack Morco, a man of the law who was no stranger to conflict himself. The disturbance echoed through the streets, swiftly attracting the attention of Sheriff Chauncey B. Whitney, a stout figure known for his firm hand, along with two of his loyal deputies. The atmosphere crackled with the sense that a confrontation was imminent, a prelude to potential chaos amidst the flickering shadows of the town's dimly lit establishments. Sterling and Morco charged at the Thompsons, firing their guns, but Ben Thompson drove them off with a barrage of shots. Then Billy Thompson, a violent man and chronic alcoholic, turned his shotgun on Sheriff Whitney, who had been a drinking companion and friend of the two brothers. At point-blank range, Billy shot the sheriff down. Wyatt stood rooted to the ground, his mouth slightly agape, as Ben Thompson strode confidently down the street, his presence commanding attention. The golden light of the setting sun cast a warm glow on Ben's figure as he swung himself onto his horse with a casual flourish, a broad grin on his face as he waved cheerful goodbye to their brother. Frustration surged within Wyatt as he turned sharply to the deputies and the mayor, who loitered awkwardly across the square, their expressions a mix of unease and resignation. "What kind of town is this?" he snapped, his voice laced with disbelief and indignation. With a pair of gleaming six-shooters slung low on his hips, Wyatt Earp set off in pursuit of Ben Thompson, who was striding confidently about a block ahead. As he closed the distance, Wyatt's resolve hardened. He confronted Thompson with a commanding presence and demanded that he drop his weapon. Acknowledging the authority of this infamous lawman, Thompson relented, surrendering his gun without hesitation. Wyatt then escorted him with a sense of purpose to the local jail, the weight of the moment evident on both their faces. In the end, Ben Thompson was slapped with a $25 fine for disturbing the peace, a mere footnote in his tumultuous life, while a dark shadow loomed over his family as a warrant for murder was issued for his brother Bill. Mayor Miller was thoroughly impressed by Wyatt's skills and presence, leading him to extend a generous offer for the position of town marshal, which came with a salary of $125 a month. However, Earp thoughtfully considered the proposal and ultimately declined the opportunity. He respectfully returned the badge to Miller, expressing his intention to pursue a different path. Wyatt shared his plans to venture into the cattle business with his brothers, focusing on their ambition rather than a law enforcement career in town. Ben Thompson, a man who would eventually forge his own path as a lawman, recounted a tense encounter with the legendary Wyatt Earp that would leave an indelible mark on his memory. During their conversation, Thompson expressed a profound conviction that, had he not chosen to relinquish his weapon at a critical moment, Earp would likely have taken his life. This incident, steeped in the gravity of confrontation, quickly reverberated along the Chisholm Trail, captivating the imaginations of those who heard it. As whispers of the encounter spread among travelers and cowhands alike, a larger-than-life narrative began to take shape, contributing significantly to the ever-growing legend of Wyatt Earp, a figure celebrated not just for his law enforcement record, but also for the mythos of bravery and grit that surrounded him. The account of Wyatt Earp allegedly arresting Ben Thompson in Ellsworth, Kansas in 1873 has been met with skepticism and scrutiny. Despite thorough investigations into local historical records, including newspapers and court documents from that time period, researchers have found no references to such an arrest. As a result, many historians and enthusiasts of the Old West have dismissed this tale as a myth, lacking any credible documentation to substantiate it. The ongoing debate surrounding the Ellsworth incident has created a notable gap in Wyatt Earp's biography. This controversy not only questions the accuracy of his reported exploits, but also casts a shadow of doubt over his overall integrity and reliability as a historical figure. Consequently, this missing piece of Earp's narrative leaves historians and enthusiasts grappling with unanswered questions about his legacy and the authenticity of the stories passed down through the years. On the other hand, Earp's loyalists passionately defend this narrative, arguing that it fits within a broader context of his law enforcement career. Earp's early expressions include a brief stint as a constable in Lamar, Missouri, during the spring of 1868. However, it was only when he arrived in Wichita, Kansas in 1874 that he truly began to establish himself as a significant figure in law enforcement, facing the challenges of the turbulent frontier towns of the American West. Exciting announcement! Get ready for an elevated listening experience with the Wild West Podcast. We're thrilled to introduce exclusive content that will take your journey through history to a whole new level. For just $3 a month, dive deep into premium material brimming with captivating analysis and expert insights into the incredible stories of the American West. Your support is vital in helping us uncover the legends and real tales that shaped this wild land. So join us on this thrilling adventure. You can catch all our action-packed episodes on your favorite platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, and wildwestpodcast.buzzsprout.com. Don't forget to connect with us on Facebook at facebook.com/wildwestpodcast and check out our YouTube channel for even more exciting content. Get ready for our next episode, where we embark on an exhilarating journey with Wyatt Earp to Wichita. Experience the electrifying atmosphere of a town buzzing with lawlessness and unexpected encounters with outlaws, setting the stage for the legendary life Wyatt would later lead. You won't want to miss it.